Are you owning your own choices? Are you being honest about your choices in life and that you, in fact, chose this path? See, I don't know about you, but no one chained me to the kitchen sink. No one forced me to be the stay at home mom or to be the primary parent or to have a child or more children consequently. No, after that, whatever the word that I'm trying to find is. Okay. No one forced me to do any of those things. And yet, when I found myself resentful of my husband, why is he sleeping in? Must be nice in his corner office. Must be nice to go to work all day. Must be nice to not have to worry about diapers. How many times did you wake up at the night with a baby? I woke up 6 times. So how about you? Must be nice to not even hear the crying. Must be nice to not have to breastfeed, right? That type of attitude at its core, at its base, is about us not being honest with ourselves about the choices we've made in life. The truth is that if I wanted to, again, I don't know about you, I was not enslaved, I was not forced. I was a grown ass woman. I could have decided to go and get, a high power corporate job. I could have decided not to have more children. I could decide to lower the standards of cleanliness in my home. I could decide not to cook from scratch. I could make plenty of decisions that would lessen my quote unquote mental load or the work that I have to do on my chore list. That I wouldn't have to do all of these things. I could choose to have a completely different life. I could have chosen all of those things. I could decide that I'm going to go and earn money and pay for a nanny to raise my kids. I could decide that I'm not breastfeeding. I'm bottle feeding. I'm not waking up in the night. I'm going to let them cry it out. There are so many things that I could have decided, but I don't own my choices. And I often say to myself inside my head, it's not fair. This has happened to me. Why do women always have to be the ones to get up with the babies? Why do women always have to be the ones to take a hit to their career, right? That was the narrative that was running through my brain that was causing resentment of my husband, as though my husband said to me, woman, get back in the kitchen, get up with the baby, stay home, don't develop your career. Now, again, I'm not saying that your husband didn't say this, but my husband didn't. Okay. He didn't say this. If I'd have decided, no, actually, I want a boss babe, I want to go and actualize myself elsewhere, I want to stop after one kid, I could have decided many different things, but I acted inside my own brain as if he somehow hoisted this upon me, as if he somehow forced me into it, as if it was somehow done to me. Now, notice that very passive language. That is the language of a victim mindset, right? That is the language of me saying, I'm a victim of society. I'm a victim of circumstance. I'm a victim of my gender. I'm a victim of just the situation that I'm in, as though everything is outside of my control, as if I wasn't there, as if I wasn't a full grown adult making choices, making decisions about my role in this family. So I had to be really, really honest about my choices. And it looked something like this. It looked like saying to myself, okay, Avital, when you're really honest with yourself, like there he is asleep in the bed, you're up with the kids because things have just kind of rolled into these roles where you're the primary parent and he's, the primary earner or whatever. It's actually not true in our marriage. We both work and we both are primary parents, but it doesn't matter. That was the case in that time. And that is the case for this woman who's writing into me, right? And I had to look at that and say, do you want to make a different choice? Would you like to switch places with him? Like even on breastfeeding, say, okay, a lot of women write to me, it's not fair. Why do I have to breastfeed? I feel resentful of, my biology, of the woman's body, of the fact that men just walk around and don't even have to think about it and their body doesn't change and they don't have to leak and they're not sore and all this stuff. And I say to myself, okay, if I could take a pill or, press a button and he could breastfeed instead of me, would I? Now, this is a useful thought exercise to do for yourself. If you could switch roles with him, if you could take on the financial burden, if you could do his job and he does your job, if he could become the primary parent that the kids run to when they're hurt or wake up in the middle of the night, would you switch with him? And again, you might answer this question differently, but for me, when I was honest with myself, I was like, no, I actually want to be doing this. I want to be the one who mostly wakes up at night. Sometimes I need his help, but mostly I want to be the one who answers that call. I want to breastfeed. I know I could bottle feed. I know I could, right? But I would like to personally do this. And so I had to be honest about the fact that these were choices that I'm making. And it's no good being a full grown adult making choices and then complaining about them, right? I'm just reserving the right. I'm putting it in my back pocket so I can blame you for it later. But the truth is, that was my choice. He didn't force me. There's no change, there's no coercion, right? I wasn't actually forced, right? No one tied me to the kitchen sink. So why am I doing these things? Well, it's because I choose to. I want to be a primary parent. I want to keep a tidy home. I want to cook fresh meals. I want to read with my children every day. I want to be present when they get home from school. I want to maybe lower my hours at work so that I can be more present. These are things that I'm actually choosing. So, whatever your choices are, whether they are climbing the corporate ladder or they are being the primary parent, the first thing to negate resentment is to take ownership of them and realize they're yours. You're not a victim of circumstance. I mean, you might be, something might have happened, right? Things happen, life happens. It's not always in our control. But for the most part, most of the things that we're resentful about towards our spouse are things that they're choices that we made, and there are choices that we can also unmake. If you want to change that in the future, if you want to lower your standards or change your lifestyle or decide a different work life balance, you can do that. If you're in a normal relationship in the sense that no one is, psychotic, no one is an addict, or no one has some kind of psychiatric break, generally good, decent people in the Western liberal world, they're going to allow you to make your choices, right? They might disagree, they might not prefer it, but you can make different choices. So that's the first thing I would say is you have to own them and not blame the other person for it. Okay. I decided to breastfeed. I decided to be home when the kids get home. I decided to get up in the middle of the night. I decided to have another baby. These are choices that I made. Okay. The second thing I had to realize is, say I see my husband sleeping in and I'm up and I'm just fuming. Why? Look at him. Must be nice. Sleeping so calmly there. Wow. He's really getting all the self care he needs, but what about me? Why didn't he think of me? And the guy is literally asleep. He's literally asleep. He does not know that I'm having this whole entire conversation with myself. Okay. He's literally completely unconscious to it. Okay. So the second thing I had to ask myself beyond, are you owning your choice? Did you make this choice?